Welcome to Wiretapped Truths. I'm Jesse Perez. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Wiretapped Truths Leland, and our comedian who's playing an elf today at a pop-up restaurant, might be at a place near you, Mr. Jack Simmons. And
Well, there.
the law
Actually, I'm an elf.
enforcement, the law
I'm playing a
enforcement.
human every day.
You play a what?
I'm an elf. I actually play a human every day, so I'm just going back to
Oh,
what I normally do. So, sorry, Jesse, you go ahead. All right. Taking away from our
today
guest.
we have a special guest, the law enforcement consultant for We Own the City, Mr. Andre Severino. Last name? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, welcome to our podcast, Dre. Yeah. So I was just telling Dre before we got on. We started this podcast like 6 months ago. Me, Leland, and Jack met on a Wire Facebook group. We all love the Wire, and we're like, hey, we should do a podcast. And I just started reaching out to. We did recaps, and I started reaching out to behind the scene members on Instagram. And Ms. Donna loved the podcast idea, and she came on as a guest on the show. And she's like, "I'm going to help your show out," And she started, and now we're like starting to do. So we named her the executive producer of the podcast, and she just started. So that's how I met you, obviously. And then she gave me so we started doing We Own the City, and then she said that you might be a good audition to this. I talked to you, and I saw your podcast, and I just want to so how did you take us through it? How did you get into I know you're from the Bronx, New York. I saw the episode. How did you end up at Baltimore Police Department, and how did you end up becoming a consultant for We Own the City, like such a hot topic in the state, I'm sure.
Right. I just want to say thank you for having me, and I want to say that Donna is truly amazing. She's such a special person. I actually call her my
Yeah.
fairy godmother. But the way it
We
all
love that
started,
woman too,
born and
Dre.
raised in the Bronx, she's just phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Sometimes you meet people and you come across them and you're like, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a police officer. I was waiting for the NYPD. They took too long. Baltimore called me, and I came to this town, and this town is really special. And that's coming from a New Yorker. You come down here and you find it. It takes a while to find what you're looking for, but once you find it, it's truly special. Um, I did the podcast because I got involved into a car accident,
Mm.
and I just wanted to do something creative. And I wanted to, at the time, um, society was going through bashing the job. And I wanted to express and showcase that the men and women that serve also have um, a different identity outside of the uniform. A lot of people are coaches on the side, electricians, plumbers. They run several different businesses. A lot of people are heavy into real estate. And I wanted to showcase that we're human beings outside of the uniform. And of course, showcasing that it grew and it grew. You guys will see your podcast is going to grow, and it's going to be, a lot of fun, and you guys are going to get really, really, really busy. Um,
Mhm.
it was when the topic came up of the police officers that did what they did. I was working for the Baltimore Sun at the time, and in Baltimore, he's the biggest reporter in Baltimore. Like, he broke every story and he brought light to everything. So at the time, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a police officer, and the people that I know did not do what these people did. So
Mm.
I invited him to come on so we could discuss it. Kind of like, hey, like, not everybody does this. That was
Mhm.
my time to express that. Again, not everybody that puts the uniform on moves in that manner.
Hmm.
We had a great podcast. It was a great episode. Um, and then we developed a friendship out of that. And about a year later, he calls me out of the blue and he's like, hey, um, they're gonna do this show. We own a city in Baltimore. Would you like to answer a couple questions? Just to keep everything true. I said, yeah, for sure. I'm down to help anybody with anything. And I answered a couple emails in reference to like how is the uniform worn, how is um, the details on the car. And then before you know it, thanks to John Bernthal and Ronaldo Green, they asked me to come on the project full time. Of course, it got approved by the executive producers. I also would like to thank them because I had an amazing experience. They approved it, and I was on set every day for the length
Wow.
of the production.
Wow.
Wow.
And what's
How
the
long was
timeline?
production for We Own This City?
I want to say roughly about 6 months.
Okay.
And what's the timeline? Is that like when did you move to Baltimore, and when did you have this like conversation that led to your position?
I moved to Baltimore in 2011.
Okay.
Wow.
In 2011, like a little bit right after the recession,
Hmm.
during the
Yeah.
recession.
Okay.
And then this kicked off in 2021.
Right. Okay.
So,
Um.
um, you're from the Bronx. You said obviously, and so my dad, right? He's a retired NYPD. He did 22 years on Jamaica Ave.
God bless his heart. God bless his heart.
Yeah, thank you. And he but he grew up in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. He moved to Woodside Projects, right? You're from the Bronx. Like so I guess my question is kind of like, do you think like if you're from like the hood and stuff, like it'll make you like a better police officer, like you have more of a understanding around the surroundings and stuff?
I think that's part of it. I think, to do this job, you definitely have to spend some time outside.
Mhm.
Like anything, you have to see how people move. You have to understand the flow of the streets.
Yeah. You have to
You know,
empathize too. That's one thing we always talked about, how like the best cops are able to relate to the people involved in those crimes and everything, and they don't necessarily see themselves as being like superior. They're just people like that happen to be I think, do you think that quality like helps you like being able to relate to people more and seeing things from their perspective and everything?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, to do the job, you definitely just have to be a people person because I know people that come from suburbs outside of Baltimore,
Yeah.
from different cities, and
Mhm.
they come here, they put the uniform on, and they're very successful. A good friend of mine, he's no longer with us, but he was from the suburbs out of Chicago,
Wow.
came here, and now he's a supervisor in a federal, three-letter agency. And he
Wow.
was a phenomenal people person, and he's a white guy, you know.
Wow.
So I think with this job, and I'm not a person that speaks on race. I think if you're a people person, if you listen to people, and when you put that uniform on, you have to understand that it's not an ego or power trip. It's you're literally there to serve. Because when people dial 911, you're literally dealing with that person on possibly their worst day of their lives.
Damn.
Showing up, can I curse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
No, I know. Showing up and saying, shut the fuck up, let me talk, is never going to help anyone.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when people dial 911, they're looking for help. Now, sometimes people want help the way they want it. And it doesn't work like that because there is a law and we have to follow the letter of the law. But once you realize on the job that you're there to help and or um, ego trip or anything like that, the job kind of like slows down and it becomes a little bit easier when
Hmm.
you realize, what you're really there for. So I
Yeah.
believe, whether you're from the hood or the suburbs, if you have it in you to serve and you're a people person.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I mean I get that, especially when from like the citizens' perspective. I mean, like, we've all like talked to different cops before. We've all needed them at times, and like you can tell when there's a cop who genuinely listens and like empathizes. It's such a relieving feeling, you know what I mean? Because you need them to help you. So it's like it almost makes you like, all right, this person's on my side. They have my back. They have this responsibility where and it just I think yeah, it definitely makes things a lot easier.
And,
Uh,
and Jack, there's definitely a difference too between those cops. Like you said, you can feel the energy. Like I mean, there's been plenty
yeah,
of times I've been pulled over. It's been like, you know what, sir, I see you going home. Slow down, or you didn't turn. I'm not gonna give you a ticket. You're coming home from work. It's like they're giving you respect, but that's also because I've always given it back to them too. And more times, I only had like
Mm.
one incident where it was like, all right, this cop on some bullshit. But
right.
more times than not, I don't really have bad situations with cops. I try to give them that same respect too, because it's a lot being a cop. You coming up on somebody who could be, you don't know, mentally challenged. You don't know what's what when you're approaching somebody that you're called to.
Right,
It's a
exactly.
lot. It's a lot that they deal with. It's definitely something. It's an honorable job for those that do it correctly in terms of living through citizens, like you said, Jack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and
But
that
for sure, I mean, the job.
Go
no, go
ahead, Jack.
ahead.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
okay.
Andre.
I was just gonna say this is it's literally. I was gonna say it's literally the best job on the planet. Now I say after the experience that I had when we were in the city, it's the second best job on the planet. Being on a set to me, that was it was like I feel like I'm the luckiest person on earth because
Mhm.
I get to serve every day, as a law enforcement, but to have that experience to be in a controlled chaos environment
Yeah.
and how all the departments work together,
Mm-hmm.
it was a beautiful experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you find like you wanted are you doing that more now afterwards? Like did you find like I want to work more with different television directors and everything? Like it was just like an experience that like brought you, like sometimes that happens, right? You find yourself doing a job and like, wow, I really love doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the chance growing up. I used to throw like teen parties in New York City. I was pretty successful at that. Like in that level of production, I grew up with I don't want to name drop, but like very very well known successful rappers out of New York City, and this is 1997, 98. So I was like in high school. So I was always around production.
Mm.
I was always like around that. Then I
Hmm.
got away from it to do the job, and then I found myself back in production. And I will say yes, definitely, it's something that, to answer your question, is definitely something that um, I will continue doing.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so it's funny, right? It's like in the beginning of We Own the City, we see an incident and the camera phones are being pulled out and the cops just leave the arrest alone. Like they don't want no camera. Um as as the camera phones been like helpful, or is it harder to do the job because of the camera phones? Do you think it is necessary? Do you think there's a necessary to the cameras being used now a days?
That's a great question. At the beginning, I was one of the ones that was like, fuck this, but I realized that, um, when you do the job good, it doesn't matter if there's one camera, 10 cameras, or no zero
Mm,
cameras.
mm,
There's been plenty of times that, as a matter of fact, I think with the cameras, you see what we go through because a lot
mm,
of times back in the day when there was no cameras, people just heard of the outcome. And I
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
think
Yeah.
now we're seeing the process of how did we get to this arrest? How did this car accident happen? And we also see how people genuinely speak to officers to the point that you're like, wow, that's wrong on their behalf. I think cameras have helped the police game. Um, I think it protects everyone. on both sides.
Yeah,
Now,
for
were
sure.
your coworkers like supportive of you being a consultant for like? Because I mean, we on the city's like some hot topics being discussed, right? And so like and I mean, if you can't answer this, just let me know. But where do you think like you saw more support, or just like it wasn't really talked about? It wasn't really like it didn't really matter much when you took this position on as a consultant show.
Heading into it, no one knew. Everyone pretty much kind of like found out a little bit after.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But thank the executive producers. I love them very much. I'm telling you, these people are just phenomenal. They allowed me to. They allowed me to display police work to the truest abilities. So it wasn't sensationalized like other police shows where
Hmm.
you're like, what? What is that person? No one does that. They
Yeah.
wanted it to be true at every moment. So there was never any criticism because you can't criticize the truth. So everything that was done on the show, it's pretty much very accurate to like real life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
there was no backlash or any criticism or anything, to the point that like a lot of people didn't even know because it looked so real. And that was my job. My job was to make sure that these two worlds are merged in a way
Hmm.
that the camera likes what the camera's picking up as far as for the viewers, but also I knew that I had to give credibility to law enforcement to keep things true, because I knew that one day I was going to go back to law enforcement and I didn't want anyone talking shit like, yo, we don't do this, we don't do that. So it was a beautiful merge. It was a beautiful
Yeah, it's true about
to
realism because
answer your question.
I even read like that some of the conversations that some of these officers were like literally direct transcripts of actual conversation. Like the dialogue's not, it's not even just dialogue. It's like this is really what happened. Is that
Yep.
true? Like they actually had real, some of the stuff is like this is what people actually said.
Yep. That is true.
So
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that you got to give that credit to you have to give that credit to David Simon. He's a phenomenal mind. He's a brilliant journalistic
Yep.
executive producer, and that's all him. He's that's all him. That's
Mhm.
yeah, to the T. Yeah.
Yep.
And
They
it shows
pulled
how
from they
unsubtle they
pulled
are.
from
I
the
mean,
wiretaps, Jack.
What's that?
They pulled from the wiretaps some of that dialogue. Like I know you watched the head. You remember when it was two cops? They were in the car and they were
Mhm.
talking about it was Gondo and Ram. I think they were talking and on the phone and they were like, "Man, Wayne Jenkins, boy, he be off the chain, yo." Like
Off the
Yeah.
chain.
that's from the actual tap. That's them talking on the tap. And I think his check. I think he said 8,000, but in real life, I think it was 16,000 instead. So they kind of toned it down a little bit for the show. I think he got like a $16,000 check or something.
Mhm.
Like it was something crazy. But that little scene where they on the phone, like Wayne Jenkins, man, who he off the chain, yo?
Yeah.
That's from the actual tap.
That's incredible. And they
Yeah.
were so on the cops themselves were so on that's what was one thing that amazed me was just how unsubtle they were on the phone with each other. And I think it was because like they just didn't think that they would ever get caught, right? They just
They
thought
thought they were
fuck it.
untouchable. Yeah.
Right,
Like
like
they
I just
said, Jack, this is Baltimore.
yeah,
I'm not tripping. We're not tripping. All the corruptness that goes on in this city, man, they're not looking at us for what? We the
systemic.
cops.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And that's why I was about to ask you too, Dre, in reference to you being in Baltimore since 2011 and you being a New York native. Can you compare, like, if you were a cop in New York versus a cop in Baltimore? Like, would it be a stark difference? I think, like, or what are your thoughts on that? Just being a cop in Baltimore versus where you grew up at in New York.
to fully get your question, can you please repeat it, because it cut off a little bit?
Oh yeah, I said you're a New York native, but you've been in Baltimore since 2011. What do you think would be the difference if you were a cop in New York versus Baltimore? Like what would be the difference in terms of how the cities are in reference to you being a cop?
um, there's definitely a difference. Like I'll give an example. Like food, right? You go to
Mm-hmm.
New York City, you trip and you fall on good food. There's good food everywhere. Here, there's amazing food. You just have to find it. You
Mm,
know, it's not like New York City where everything is everywhere. Here, there's so much quality. You just have to like find it. You have to do your, this city is filled with hidden gems, and they're getting better with the exposure. Like um, things are becoming more in your face. Like for example, there's a group called the Atlas Group. They own a bunch of restaurants in throughout the DMV. And when I tell you, you get a New York level dining experience, like 5 star in Baltimore. Like so it's coming. It's coming. Baltimore. Baltimore. It's its own animal. And
Yeah.
I've been all over the country, and there's no city like it. There's no city. I love Miami. I love Tampa. I love Dallas is an awesome town. There's certain cities in LA, in California, like San Francisco's cool. LA is its own vibe. Chicago's pretty dope, but Baltimore is like it. And if you do like it, you like love it. Like Baltimore just grabs you, right? Or you hate it, And
Yeah.
there's towns that like when I go into, I'm like, I don't like it. Let's do what we got to do and let's get out. Baltimore, I
Mm-hmm.
came here and I was like, huh, like, all right, this is not to be crazy, but it's like, that girl in high school that like she's not popular, but there's just something about her, and you're like,
She pretty though.
what?
she
I
takes
want to
off her
be in love with
glasses and
you,
her hair
but you
comes
don't you
down.
don't kind of like want to tell your
Yeah, that makes sense.
say
She's
that
like the
again.
girl in the she's like the girl in the rom com, right? She takes off her glasses and her hair comes down. You're like, oh my god, you were the one I was after all along. So that's Baltimore. That makes sense. Okay, I like that. That's
That's a
that's
hell of an analogy
that's
too.
great.
Like that's a hell of an
Yeah,
analogy
yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
And that makes sense. There's always something about I love Baltimore
Yeah,
too. Like, and when I've been there,
yeah.
and
New York
there's
City.
very specific cultures. Go ahead. What are you saying?
No, please. It was.
Uh, yeah, there's something like a just a very specific culture that I loved, and that like David Simon obviously loved too. That it's like its own personality, and there's also like a grit to it too. Everyone's very like, you know what I mean. Like there's like a toughness. You say like I'm from Baltimore. It means you don't take shit from people. It's like I've been to San Francisco, and like when people say like you never say like I'm from
It's
San
a,
Francisco, really tough. You say like,
yeah,
I'm from
yeah,
San
yeah.
Francisco. I work
It's
for a startup.
it's
Go ahead, Dre. Then we lost you. Did we lose him? Dre?
Did we lose him?
yeah. Nah, you're
So yeah.
right. I mean, if you ever get an artist, she was a phenomenal artist. Nina Simone.
Mm.
She wrote a song about Baltimore, and one of the lines she says it's the hardest city by the sea.
Damn.
I like that. That makes sense. Yeah, and I
Dre,
didn't know
you're
that.
freezing. It's like freezing in and out.
He's back.
So listen.
Yeah, it
There you
was.
go.
He's
Now,
good.
with We Own the City, let me ask you something. Were you that familiar with the case of Wayne Jenkins and that whole thing before they consulted you, or was this something like you were kind of discovering on the spot as the show was going on?
I mean, unfortunately, everybody knew about it. It was It was the biggest. It was the biggest. I would say it was the biggest blow to the department because the people doing the job did not know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, what the fuck? You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was a big blow. It was a huge blow, huge blow. So yeah, we knew about it.
He seemed like the golden child too. That's what was so surprising. Because when I watched the show, all the higher ups talk about Wayne Jenkins. They're like, "Oh, he's the best cop. He does all the work. He's like our all-star cop, like the model." They always talk about it. So I feel like for him, it was like getting the rug pulled out from underneath. Like
Yeah.
he's the one. Everyone thought he was the guy that was like a legit cop, and just
Yeah. And Jack, you know that scene when the Freddie Gray stuff happened? And it's like Wayne Jenkins, he goes up against the crowd. You know, he runs like into the crowd to defend the cops. That's real. That part that's real. That's actually real. And he did get honored for that. Like he was honored for that situation because it was like, you know, from the cops' perspective, it's damn somebody on the forefront that's going into the madness and protecting us. Like they always said it was two sides to him, and that's like one of the sides is him as a cop. He loved that shit as a cop. Like, you know, he did love being
There's
cop.
something about him that loved the job. He loved the job. You know,
I love the action. Yeah.
Exactly.
Again, that's to the executive producing team, David, Simon, Nina, Noble, and George. Those people, when they touch something, they do not fuck around, and they're gonna bring it as true and as accurate as they could find, because it's all you know, cases like this, it's all public information once it hits the court. So from them to translate it to, you know, viewing to the screen, you know, that's them. So yes, everything was accurate, but I also want to say to that, you know, is the three letter agency. Everybody that you know, you want to do crime, if the feds get involved, man, you're not gonna get away with it. You know,
they don't take on bullshit cases.
But like, and then they don't take on, all right, like there's phenomenal police officers in every city, but we're handcuffed to a certain degree. Now, when you get to the level of the federal agencies that have unlimited budget, they can cross jurisdictions, right? When you get to that level of them investigating you, it's only a matter of time, and they're gonna sit back. They're gonna let you hang yourself. I mean, they were watching them for a bit, right?
For years.
Sat back and let them hang themselves, so that when that conviction comes, you can't run away from it. You can't say, I didn't do that, or you know, that wasn't me. They got you. So you know,
it's like it's almost like a RICO charge, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, seeing that, you know, when they get involved, again, when these things happen, you know, I think old Hollywood, they would do things to like sensationalize.
But dramatize it.
Right. But real life, when things happen like this, it's like you said, it's subtle and it's just painful, and it's just like
it's a shock almost for a lot of people. I think and I've seen Dre, I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch I mean, you're in Baltimore, you know all of this shit kind of, but there's a documentary on Wayne Jenkins. I think it's on Amazon, and it's called We Got a Monster, or I Got a Monster, or something like that. And it's essentially showcasing what we own this city was, you know, but from the actual people that went through some of this stuff, like people that were convicted and people that got out and they sued Baltimore and they won. Like it's stuff from their perspectives in terms of what's going on. I mean, it's a phenomenal documentary, and some of these people they're literally crying on camera. Like, it's like, man, I lost 9 years of my life. I missed my son. Somebody's son died while he was in jail, wrongfully convicted. You know, like it's stuff that tugs at the heartstrings when you kind of like put in perspective what some of these people were doing, and then knowing like cops like yourself, Dre, where it's like, well, shit, I would never do that, like kind of thing. You know, it's it's tough. It's tough watching it and then knowing that a lot of it is true.
You know, so here's where it gets a little conflicting, right? You know, of course, I don't approve what they did, but at the same time, um, that crew, right? They weren't targeting regular people.
Mm-hmm.
So like the people that they were targeting were bad people. And
Yeah.
I had the producers of that doc on my podcast.
Oh
So
wow.
I definitely understand what you're saying. And I get it that you know some of the people that get on there and they start crying, but like let's not forget
Who they
all
were
the
in reality.
people ended up on that crew's radar.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm.
they weren't, they weren't like BG, they weren't Con Edison workers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
these
Right.
people were outside doing what they were doing.
They were
And
doing
that's how
dirt.
yeah. So, I
And
get it.
yeah, it creates like a catch-22 for those people too, because it's like they get their money stolen, but they can't. What are you gonna do? Call the cops? Be like, yeah, they stole my drug money. They can't
Yeah,
like.
facts. Facts.
So it's easier to like.
But the feds do it, right? Like when the feds confiscate, and
Mhm.
you're a famous or a really successful drug dealer, and you have a Lambo and you have a penthouse and you have millions of dollars, the feds take that and they put it
Yep.
into circulation. So it's it's just the way it works. Like you said, it's a catch-22. It
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
To
Now
Do
put
you
that in
think that
perspective too, not to cut you off, Jesse, Jack, I know y'all have probably heard about, and I've mentioned it, like the Big Meat story. When he went to jail, it was $250 million worth of assets that the Fed seized. So like $250 million plus of cash, houses, cars, jewelry, everything, all of the assets, $250 million. That's a lot of fucking money. Okay, and that's just what they found. We don't know. It's rumors that they think the Big Meat stashed even more money that the feds never found because his operation was so big. But just put that into perspective. That's what they seized when the case was done. $250 million worth of stuff. That's a lot of fucking shit. Like,
so? Dre, it's like right. If there's now with that being said, and yeah, what I understand what you're saying. What the crew did is not like these are good people, right? But now, what do you there was somebody, choir boy they called him on the show, right? That they didn't want to do no dirt in front of choir boy and stuff.
Detective
Now I
Cool. Yeah.
did he I'm assuming he's the one that didn't get any time, right, Leland? He didn't get nothing.
nope,
I'm sure.
nope.
So, do you think that there's now let's say you're new to the force and you get placed in there. Um, do you think you have to have a certain kind of strength in you to say like no to this like group of people that your group is already doing it also? Like it's kind of like you're in a tough spot, right? I mean, if you're just like straight out of the academy, you get put in there, and these guys are doing this thing, and you see it that way, right? You know what I'm do you know what I'm trying to say? Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're saying like, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think that is like the test of like, do you belong here? Like
Mhm.
you do the job, and if that's your first test, that's when you say, I'm not going to be a part of this. I mean, it's extremely hard to do something like that nowadays with everything that, these agencies have put in place. I don't think something to that magnitude would be seen again in American policing because there's
Mm,
just so much the consent decree put so many things in place.
mm.
Yeah, I think something like that. That's when you have to be true honorable and say, yeah, I'm not a part of this. I'm not,
Mhm.
that's not who I am.
You know what, Jack? What y'all are describing, so I'm just sitting here thinking about it. It's the movie Training Day. Like it's like we're like describing the movie Training Day almost because he was new, he jumped right into it, and the person that's training me, he dirty as fuck.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
so it's like I guess this is what my job is. I'm supposed to just do what the person who is teaching me is doing, kind of thing. I guess it's okay because he doing it, like kind of thing, you know.
That's the thing. If you're trained by a, sorry, go, like if you're trained by a guy who does that, you just naturally think that's your job, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Training Day is a phenomenal movie. I love movies. Training Day is a phenomenal movie. Yeah, when you get to that level of like police work, you're not a regular patrol officer. All right, so just to give you guys a little bit, there's levels of law enforcement, you know,
Right.
Mm.
and when you hit those levels, like Jack mentioned earlier, and I will continue to say, every day is a catch 22, and it's a struggle to pull and tug of like, where's the line of,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, Training Day. I mean, we saw in Training Day like Ethan Hawke's character. He was a regular cop,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and then he went into that unit, and those units, they deal with really bad people, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
portray that you're a bad person in order to attract, those type of cases. Yeah, he was conflicted from the beginning.
Yep. Facts.
I got a question as far as part of the job. Do you do you feel like the job left? I mean, like obviously, like you're like pretty down to earth and cool, but is it like I'm just like would a part of the job leave you a little jaded? Meaning like you get to see like the worst of the worst, right? And you see people lying through their teeth. Does it make you more skeptical like on every like no this there's some bullshit here going on, like it's like more skeptical about things because like you the part of the world you see is not the part me, Leland, and Jack see. You get called to the worst cases.
Yeah, I mean, the job definitely expands your view on society,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as like being jaded, after a while, I think if you got a good foundation, you could learn how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
like seeing that aspect of like human beings, if you sit back and look at it, it's in every industry, it's in every all
Yeah.
walks of life. Like, for example, look at the coach from Michigan.
Yeah,
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 man.
yeah, yeah.
What?
Like look at what
Crazy.
he's doing. Like, so I think every entity has like its negative, again, catch 22, that other side. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're a coach, you're making millions of dollars, and you have staff, and you choose to do that. In that
Right.
world, it's equivalent to like my world where there's people doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just on that level, it's not as gruesome, because in my world you see violence, right? In that world,
Mm-hmm.
it's scandal, and it's a little bit cleaner, but it's still up there. I think
Yeah.
for me, the only issue to this day that I have is uh excuse me, when people um do violence to children. That one
Mm-hmm.
always just
Yeah, that's I
that
don't
one
know.
is the one that, like, to
Yeah.
answer your question, I go home and I'm like, oh, like like there was a case not too long ago, like these parents, they starved a like 2-year-old,
Come
and
on,
it's
bro.
like,
My daughter's about to be 2 in January, bro.
like
Come on, bro.
it's seeing that with your eyes, it just stays with you, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. It's probably hard
And
to
it's like,
turn it off at the end of the day too. Like you go home and it's
yeah,
like, how do you go from that to just being like, all right, what's for dinner? Like that's yeah.
Are we doing tuna
yeah,
surprise tonight or what?
that's the ones that hurts. As far as like, you know, drug dealers and car accidents, for some reason that doesn't really affect me. But to somebody else,
It might.
on the job, a car accident is what affects them, or seeing people shot. That's what
Right.
everybody has their own button that when it gets pressed, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like I didn't know seeing kids neglected or mistreated or child abuse, I did not know that affected me until I got onto this job.
Mm,
So like I just can't see it. I can't deal with
it's
it.
tough.
It's like, all right, I tap out at this point. So everybody that puts the uniform on, they don't know until they put into that position.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
And I
that's
got a
that's
question too, Dre.
yeah.
Just in reference to Baltimore, I was just thinking about, at the end of We Own This City, it shows pretty much all of the people who were dirty outside of the cops. The mayor, like the deputy police chief, like it was stuff where it's like if some of these higher ups, they were in some dirt too, big time. The mayor she went to jail, kind of thing for tax evasion, corruption, stuff like that. And it made me think about the mayor in Detroit. Years ago, what was his name? Kwame something. He was throwing like crazy parties. He was the mayor of Detroit. He went to jail and did stuff like that. So I'm just looking at like just these two situations where the mayor is dirty.
Eric Adams, man.
Yeah,
My mayor of New York, our mayor of New York City was, and that literally was what he did. He used all he got. He threw all these. He stole taxpayer dollars to throw like these lavish parties and these foreign hotels,
and I guess where I'm
and he
going
was a
with this
cop too.
though, where I'm going with this is like if the mayor, who's the leader of your city, is dirty, like it's almost like, well, shit. Well,
Yeah,
everything is dirty then. Like, what's clean if the person who's supposed to be I guess, the carrier of our city, who represents our city in the public eye, if they're dirty, they doing dirt. It's like, well, shit. Well, the city is
right.
dirty from the start. Like everybody, I don't know. Like I don't even know what the question is. I'm just trying to like, as cops, it's like, well,
Who do you
shit.
trust?
The mayor is dirty. What are y'all talking about? I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying like, well, shit. Our city is fucked up already. I don't know. I don't even know what the question is. I'm just trying to like understand when
Yeah.
you're dealing with dirty politics and the people of your city, and you're a cop. It's like, well, our city is dirty, kind of thing. I'm not saying that justifies it. I'm just like, well, we all fucked up, I guess, is a statement I'm trying to make. I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't that like on a human species kind of like level?
Yep.
Because it's not, it's just if you look around, it happens everywhere in every country. I think
Yeah.
it comes down to like the human thing.
Yeah, I think it's power. You get power, and power comes with ego. I always thought so. It's like you get a lot of power. You start thinking like, well, I could just do whatever I want. Who's gonna tell me off? I run the fucking city. I can do this. No one's. And it's like, and you start to get away with it. And you just think, well, I guess I could just continue doing that. And
When they roll the end credits of We Own This City,
that was
and,
hilarious, by the way.
and
That
they're
was like
supposed to
darkly funny.
show the change. It's like, okay, hey, yeah, we fired this commissioner after the gun trace task force shit happened. All right, now we got this person. It's like, hey, new person. He's incorporating clean policing, and then 4 months later, he out for tax evasion or some
Yeah.
shit like that. Like, it's just like, well, damn, well, shit, then what are we talking about then? Does it never change?
Yeah, I said funny, and like it's a darkly funny thing. We're talking about the mayor Catherine Pugh, and
Yep.
she gives this big speech at the end. She's like, "The buck stops here. We are going to make a change," and then just shows Catherine Pugh is now in jail. For it's like, okay, thank you so
Exactly,
much for
bro.
that.
Exactly, bro.
Do you think things have changed in a positive direction, Dre? Like, do you think that things are getting better, or it's just sort of staying the same after that?
The town is definitely better.
Okay, like
The
what
town is, yeah, it's much. I mean, look at the statistics now. I mean, I think it's been 2 years in a row. Homicides are like down, down.
Wow.
Like homicides are probably, I think last year was like 200, and this year I
Damn.
think it's in the mid 100.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
like they're doing. Without saying too much, but I will give them credit that like they're doing their thing. Like things are different. We're coming to the end of the year, and we'll see the numbers, and I guarantee you it's well below what it used to be.
Because it used to be what,
Before
upwards 300, 300
like
murders a
400,
year,
yeah,
something like
400,
that for
400,
Baltimore.
yeah,
Well, it's also like having less corrupt cops. I feel like it makes it easier for the honest ones to do real police work because they're not encumbered by having to deal with this corruption. They can just honestly like focus on their jobs more, you know. And that'll. I think also it leads to more trust between communities, right? Because it's like if you put in place stuff to prevent corruption, you start getting rid of the dirty cops, and there's naturally more trust between the citizens and the police, and I think that just make things better by themselves, right? Um,
Yeah, and I also believe the fact that, like, again, the cameras um are a huge attribute to that.
mhm.
But also, again, the cameras, now that there's TV shows like body worn camera shows. I don't watch them, but I think now people see how difficult the job is, and I
Mm,
feel like citizens are now giving grace when they interact with police officers. They're not like, they're a little bit, they're giving grace. They're not
Mhm.
off the rip. You're an asshole. I
yeah,
think both sides are now in a way meeting in the middle to resolve whatever problem needs to be resolved.
yeah. Um. So I'll tell you, the first time I saw the police officer come out in my dad is when I told him I got pulled over for and I was like, but I stopped, and he's like, did you stop or did you roll by? He said, he talked to me like a cop, right? And he's like, and I was like, I was like,
It's a
what?
huge
I think I
difference.
stopped, right? And then but so can you like, if so, a little behind the scenes, I guess, if you're a consultant, I'll ask you, what is if I was like doing a film, and I'll say, what is the proper way to handle a pullover procedure? Like, can you tell us that, like, what you would tell the crew to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what I was doing. They hired me to be as accurate as possible. No fluff, and they gave me the freedom to do that, and it translated well on film, on screen. It just it was great. Yeah, I would break it down, and then the thing is, when you're working with certain actors, they process things a little different. So you just
Mm,
have to find your niche, your communication style with the person that you're dealing with in order for them to do their job as good as possible. Like, for example, John Bernthal is phenomenal, right?
he's awesome.
Mhm.
So is Jamie Hector, right? And there's two different styles.
Yeah.
Darryl Britt Gibson. He's, all they all have their own method of how
Mhm.
they bring it to the screen. And I had to learn, okay, I speak to JB this way. I Jamie is this way, and again, you just have to like learn on the fly. You have to just, you have to flow with it. It's a flow, and it's a beautiful like symphony of direction, but like taking what they're giving. Yeah, it's just remarkable. It's one of those things you can't really like describe. It's just like, it's really magic.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, like, movie magic is a real thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
And
course,
I
man.
mean, and again, David Simon and his crew, they did it on The Wire. Everything they touch, they bring that. The Wire is, arguably,
It's art.
yeah, it's art, but it's arguably, it's always the discussion, which one's better, or which one is
It's the best
HBO's
for me.
greatest hit, The
Yeah.
Sopranos or The Wire,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And it's
Yeah.
like, but they do that all the time. Like, We Own the City, I feel like doesn't get enough conversation because it was really, it wasn't more action, like, shootings and everyday like car chases. They had that in the film, in the show, but it's it was true. You know, like
Mhm.
you go to
Yeah.
like police officers, they go to work every day. Not everyone gets involved in a shooting. Not
Yeah.
everyone is involved in a car accident or in a car chase. You know, a lot of the time, the job is hurry up and wait. You just sitting around, you're helping people, and then all of a sudden it does kick off. So that show expressed it, but it also, I think people don't take uh the journalistic aspect of it. Like, We Own the City is intellectually insane.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's Dre is literally a masterpiece.
Yes,
Yeah.
Um, it's really a masterpiece. I don't think
but
people
but,
talk about
but
it enough as far as critical claim because it's only 6 episodes. But it's a theatrical masterpiece on screen. I mean, I literally watch it every day because I
yeah,
say this all the time because it's only
and
6 episodes. If I know I'm gonna get 5 hours of sleep, I'll start at episode 2 and let it play to episode 6 because I know it's 5 hours. Like it's just a phenomenal on
the
screen,
the,
a phenomenal theatrical experience for
the
sure.
dialogue,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the dialogue, man, and it's a lot of people that just
So
watch
real.
TV, they want action, right?
Hmm.
But this is not that. This is like a slow burn. Like, if you're paying attention, you're like, holy fuck, you
Yeah.
know, and that is so hard to do, and they accomplished it with this show, and it was beautiful.
Well,
Like,
that's what I love too.
for
I
example,
mean, sorry, go ahead.
like, I know you said behind the scenes when JB gave that speech, when
Yeah.
JB character gave the speech to the Academy.
Hmm.
in the
Mhm.
beginning, the opening scene.
And the
Dog,
end
I
too.
was I was on set crying. I had to walk away. Those words, I was just like, like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
it really brought it to, like, my face of, like, holy shit, I'm really in it right now.
Yeah, it grabs you right off the bat, and it shows who Wayne is as a character from the very first time you see him, because he shows he is like the way they describe McNulty. He is a leader of men, and when he gives that speech, it's like a general firing up his soldiers because everyone's like, yeah, and it really does bring you right into that. And you're right, it has that like almost like documentarian level of like realness that you're just like wow, that it doesn't come off like dialogue. It just sounds like people talking to each other, especially like I made this point a few episodes ago about how a lot of the cops in the show have this like macho like ball busting way of speaking to each other that it doesn't come off like hey, it just comes off of people that work with each other every day. And when you're just with these people, it's just you could tell just they're like friends. They know each other. They're able to
Yep.
tease each other. It just feels more like real people than characters, I guess.
The
Uh,
beauty about that speech, and I think David Simon wrote that. That wasn't, I don't know if the character actually did that, but um those words, right? The beauty of it was when he gave that speech, if you're watching, right, he spoke to an academy, right?
Hmm.
Like in the show, they had no idea. Like, he spoke to them, but they didn't have no idea of, like, kind of like what he was talking about. And you don't until you get out there.
Hmm.
Once you
yeah,
get out there, then you're like, oh, I understand now. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, I thought that was sick.
yeah.
Dre, I know you're at your office. You don't got much more time, but we're not gonna take too
No,
much
no,
of
no.
your time. But real quick,
Yeah, I'm on. I could talk.
okay, cool. I wanted to get into your podcast, 100 Silverback Chronicles. And the episode I saw, you guys explain the name Silverback. Can you like explain it to our audience a little? Why you guys called yourself that?
Yeah, that phrase, that nickname was given by Big H. So we, like, being from New York, we kind of like brought that mentality down here of, like, being in the concrete jungle, and who runs the jungle? The silverback. So um we just did everything in packs, so that we remain safe and we make sure that everybody goes home. Um and it just fit like our style, like family. We random packs, we do the right thing, and yeah, we just go home. You know, it was a
So and
tribe.
then so then the in the episode I watched, right, John Berthon, which you know, it would, I mean, it was awesome, the credit he gave police officers, right? He was like, I just put on makeup and memorize a few lines. Like, you guys put your life on the line, right? Like, you could show that the love and appreciation he has for the job. And I heard he's a great guy. Like when he talked about actually when he talked about his kid, I know firsthand experience that what a great father he is, because he my friend moved to California, and he coached on the same basketball team with John Bertha. Like they're like, you know, when he moved out there, he sent us a picture. My friend Nelson, who we actually had on the show, um, he coached because they both coached the little league team. So I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
John is an active father, which was a pretty cool 6 degrees of separation kind of thing. But you mentioned I liked what you had to say about fear, that they cannot teach you how to react to fear in the academy. If you could just reiterate to that, because it's like I thought that was, because it's like yeah, how do you know you won't be, how do you know you would act in a situation where like you're a police officer, now you're going into like, you're headed into danger, right? Which is kind of like every instinct tells us not to, right? Our instinct tells us, but as a police officer, you walk into danger. So, and you kind of said there's nothing that could prepare you for that kind of fear, right? You got to know. Like, can you like tell us about that?
yeah. It's one of those things. You got to be put into the shit in order to figure it out. And like to this day, right? For example, because I know this, I would never call a person a coward. You know, because I don't know how that person grew up. I don't
Mhm.
know, um, what they live with. I don't know. You don't know who you are until you're put into that position, and it's like, okay, I could do the job. You could pull cars over, you can, arrest bad people, but let's just say, um, running into a burning building is not your thing. The job is gonna the job is gonna expose that. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
you a coward? If 3 days ago I just fought, 250-pound drug dealer and I arrested him, or the other day, I climbed in through a window to save a kid, but then that day that there's a fire, I freeze. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
everybody has it in them. For
Right.
example, like I'm not running into a house that has snakes in it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But like I will chase a car. I will, but I see a little snake. I'm not doing it. Like, and everybody has that thing, and I would never call a person that does the job, oh, because that one day you were in a situation, at the end of the day we're human, right? And we're not,
Yeah.
we can't bypass certain things, and it's just something that God, a higher entity, put in us, I guess, to like keep us humble in a way.
Yeah.
Because
Sometimes you don't even know what you're afraid of until it hits you because there's something that happened to you when you were a kid or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't.
exactly, I
Yeah.
mean, even because this is a podcast about films. Look at Batman. Like Batman had his thing. Superman,
Yeah.
you bring kryptonite around Superman, he
So with.
freezes. He's
Right.
done.
Indiana
He's
Jones and the Snakes, like you said, he's like,
yeah.
you know,
See, like
he's
for
got that
example,
one.
Indiana Jones, right? What was it? The Temple of Doom. Remember when he put his hand through that wall, and also
Yeah.
the I
He's like,
can't do
oh.
that. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Well,
You're gonna get crushed. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
well,
You
there's
know,
actually, I don't know if you guys
it's
saw the Dune movie. They have the same thing where he guys puts his hand into a box, and the reason they put his hand into a box was because they were trying to test how much of a afraid he was, because he didn't know if the only was going to shock him or anything. It's just to test if you're willing to explore unknown entities. Something could just happen, you know. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but that definitely is true. That like, yeah, you can never really prepare yourself. Like you could take
yeah.
all the
But then the
tests you
thing
want.
is, yeah, but then the thing is, I think. But here's the catch to that, right? I think the thing is, what is it on the other side? Like if I do this thing, why am I doing it? Like some
Mhm.
people's motive is their kids. Like
Yep.
if my kid is about to get crushed and I got to put my hand through that snake wall, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Because of
Right.
the love of my kid. But
The
I
child.
don't know if I would do it for like is the motivating factor. And I think that's what every human is built with like it's a damn, do I do it because of this? Oh shit, if it's my kid, I'm definitely gonna do it. I don't give a fuck. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And
It's
Dre, that actually is my next question for you. Like in reference to cops, like you've been on sets, you've been on movies, you're from New York, you've been in Baltimore all these years. Like you've done stuff outside of just being a norm. You got a podcast, like you've got stuff outside of your normal day-to-day, hey, I'm a cop. But for somebody who might, I don't want to say just a cop, but is solely only focused on being a cop, the cops that want to excel or go up in the higher ups, like they want to be promoted, they want to make rank and stuff like that. I guess how do you know, like what's the difference in terms of how they may operate versus somebody who maybe just wants to stay where they're at? Like what's the deal? Like how do you police differently if you're aspiring to go up to the next level? I guess is my question.
um can you reiterate so I can make sure I get so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying
So like if I got two cops and one, I'm like, okay, I know I want to be promoted. I want to be sergeant. I want to look to get to the next level in terms of the higher ups. I guess how do they operate versus somebody who, yeah, this is what I want to be this position for the next 25 years. I'm fine. I don't want to make rank. I guess what's the difference in
yeah
policing when you aspire to go to that next level? I guess.
okay, I understand now. I think it just comes down to the individual. There's certain individuals that aspire to make rank because they want to be part of the change,
Mm.
and then there's some people that are good with just being a regular patrol officer, kind of like
Mhm.
leave me alone.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do my thing. I know the job. I know my post. I know, you know, this is my routine. So that
Well,
comes
my
down to
father
the
was patrol
individual.
for 22 years. He loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, but the thing is, yeah, like patrol, patrol's awesome.
Yeah.
Patrol, like if you can have a lot of fun in patrol, and patrol is like that's the bread and butter of all law enforcement because
Right.
that's where you're like boots on the ground and you're servicing the community and every day you're dealing with something different,
Yeah,
like and you don't have to deal with the
politics.
politics of like when go up the chain of command, which is also a fine art in itself. That's a different game where things move differently. But like as
Mm-hmm.
far as patrol, you know what you're getting into every day when you get inside that car.
Yeah.
And you also don't know what you're getting into. And I think that's again the catch 22, and that's the art of it. Like, all right, today I'm dealing with a car accident, but then tomorrow you might deal with that burning building. You know, whereas command, you're there to uh you're there to make sure that the people that do the job have what they need in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get a lot of them in Baltimore, but I've been seeing on like TikTok and YouTube these self-proclaimed police auditors like with the camera, and they just antagonize the cops, and it's kind of obvious that like they're just looking for like a lawsuit, for like and they want to go and test the cops' knowledge and stuff like on this and that. Do you have a take on that? I don't know if you've seen it like on YouTube and TikTok, like you know what I'm talking about, these auditors.
Yeah, I feel like it's like I don't go to your job and antagonize you. Why are you doing that to me?
Yeah, right.
Facts.
I think that's clickbait, and I think society could do without it because it's like, come on, man. Like you're just looking, you're looking for whatever you're looking for. But like if you're, those antagonizers, right? Like if you're a plumber on your day job and this is what you do for fun, no, there's no police officer going to your plumbing job and saying, you need a 1/4 inch wrench to do that. Like what are you
Right.
doing? You know,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
Yeah, I watch, and
yeah.
I
I
guess
don't.
I'm guilty of watching the videos too, because I'm watching the videos just like this guy is so exhausting. Just leave this cop alone. But I'm like actually entertained, so I'm giving it a view, I guess. But it's like,
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It's silly. I don't even.
yeah.
Like you said, they're trying to get the
Humans.
cops to get angry and beat them up so that they can, sue him for,
Oh yeah,
That's
or they want
crazy
an
work.
unlawful arrest for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one downside to like the cameras, right? There's always like a downside to something like that. But I don't know. I think it's just been something that's been going on lately that I was like, I don't know. Oh, and also I guess my final question for you, and I guess the guys will have probably questions if they want. But how do you feel like the media portrayal on police? Like you said, you had to talk to somebody from the Baltimore Sun to open their eyes to be like, no, this is how this is done. Like you in you even told us right now, like you like you said, hey, look, it's a catch-22. They weren't doing this to good people. Like when Leon is talking about family crime, like these are like, drug dealers and stuff. Um how do you so it was also so it's good that like we own the city had you there with that kind of stance also. um what do you feel about like the media portrayal in general of like police lately? Like do you think they're just like looking for on a bigger scale, just looking for clickbait in its own way?
I mean, I think they have a tough job as well.
Mm.
They have to find stories that they're looking for that pop, like
Mm-hmm.
whoa, like um, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on the media.
So,
I think it's a little bit better than before. We went through a tough time
mhm.
in this country where everything in the media was negative as far as police work. But I think the pendulum has swung in a sense the other way, and I think again these are all my personal opinions. I
Yeah, yeah.
think um, I think the media is starting to realize like the profession is hard, and
Hmm.
how can I criticize the outcome of this when if I was put in that situation, I wouldn't even know what to do. I think a lot of people. I think with everything that has happened, I think the job has been humanized to the point that like people are now a little bit more sympathetic to the job,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and they're
Yeah.
taking it instead of jumping at it like, oh, I think people are like, wait a minute, wait, well, that person was an asshole to that cop, and if
Mm-hmm.
it was
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I would have done something worse. I think
Yeah.
we're getting more of that now. You know,
Yeah.
like for example, like all the time, people come up, to police officers, and they'll be like, "Can I borrow your gun? Because today this woman cut me off driving," and it's like, you need a gun for that? Thank God you don't have a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like people are out there, and again, a credit to the cameras. People are now starting to see the everyday lives and also the decision making that law enforcement officers do, and they're starting to be like, well, that officer did a good job because of X, Y, and Z.
Right. I mean, there was a That's a great point, well, especially with the regards to the cameras. There's a documentary I recently watched. I don't know if you guys have seen it or heard of it, called "The Perfect Neighbor" on Netflix, and it's a
Oh
phenomenal
yeah,
documentary.
that was sad, man.
The entire movie shot through police body cam footage. It's unlike
Damn,
anything I've ever seen in my life. It's
it
heartbreaking.
was so well done,
What
right?
It,
is
That
it?
view,
What's it
that
called,
that
Jack?
accent.
It's
it's
called
called.
The Perfect Neighbor. You got to watch it, Leland. I don't even want to tell you what happens at the end because it's like its own little movie. It's like you're like
The Perfect Neighbor.
it's
I'm
some
gonna, I'm gonna
twisted
watch it
turn.
today.
Yeah, it's sad
Um,
though.
The way
Get
yeah.
ready to have the
it's
get
done,
ready
right?
to have the
Like you
tissues out.
mentioned, it's that those producers, ever since I did We Own the City, I look at production now from a different aspect. So with that documentary, I think it's genius level um idea of taking all those body worn cameras, piecing it together, because you, like you said, you see it from the body worn camera, and it's very it's captivating, almost like how they did that.
Yeah, it's incredible. And one thing that stuck out to me, like you talk about how we see cops that are day to day. I thought the way that the cops handled that, I honestly thought, like from an objective, I thought they did a really good job. They when they were called to the person's house. So just to give a little context, the movie is about there's a dispute between one annoying neighbor who is constantly complaining about all these kids playing on her street, and she calls the cops over, and she continually calls the cops back and forth, and every time they come over there, the cops aren't like aggressive, they're not acting like assholes, they're not like, hey, what do you do? They're actually very like understanding, and they were kind of talking to people and trying to get like like trying to get an honest sense of like what's happening. And they start to realize throughout the movie that this woman who keeps calling them is insane, and she's actually the one causing this issues. And I
Damn.
think, like you said, it really shows that like when you actually see from the actual footage of what they're dealing with, you see like a real perspective, like, hey, these cops are like, they're going about their job in a really like methodical way, I thought, so I think, yeah, I definitely think, body cams and everything shows that different side of everything, and I think there is, more of an understanding of like the different nuances that come with this job, um yeah, and especially with We Own the City too, because it is like, it shows that there are genuinely good cops too who get caught up in the bad world, like Detective Sean Suter, who had his
Yeah,
unfortunate demise. And it's hard not, and when you're a good cop but the entire department is dirty, it's like how it's impossible to stay that way, and everyone's putting their pressure on you and everything. So
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, definitely it's a very complicated situation, man. It's
And Jack, did you have another question for Dre before we cut?
um no, do you have any other shows that you're like a part of at the moment? Do you have anything else coming up that we can be on the lookout for?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple things in the works. We're in the preliminary stage, but it's gonna be, it's because it's gonna be good stuff, real stuff.
Okay.
Um, you know, more stuff so that we could do another episode and talk about and
Good
dissect.
stuff there.
Hell yeah.
Dre,
Yeah,
whenever that project comes, we always have our guests connect with Jesse. Like if you have links to stuff that you want us to promote, whether it be your podcast, the new projects you're working on, just send it to Jesse. And when we
absolutely,
upload moving forward, I'll put it in every video description at the bottom. We put all our interviews, links, and stuff in our description. So if you got anything that you want us to do, whether the podcast, you want us to put in the links, just send it to Jesse, and I'll put it in all of our videos going
for
forward.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
Dre.
Yeah, thank you.
First of all, thank you for your service. And thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for you know all the work you've done. And I actually and we completely missed this. This is partially my fault too. We said we do recaps of The Wire. I don't know if you're a The Wire fan, but it's the best television show ever. I'm sure you watch The Wire. And I'm like, oh, but we're always like, oh, if we have a cop here, we have to ask them that. And I think we just completely blanked out on all the questions we have, like from the Wire, on like what the Wire, like law, like if they what the procedure would be. So my question would be, moving forward, we'll take a list of questions we want to ask you, and like if they did this right and stuff, and maybe in a few months we could have you back again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Just know that because law enforcement is always changing, you know, uh, I can't really
Yeah.
speak on how they did things on the wire because that was a different time to compare to
Mhm.
now.
Oh,
So I
gotcha.
can't,
Yeah.
I can't. But what I will say, because again, this is a film
Yeah.
podcast. The Wire was so good that if you look at the cast members of The Wire and you see them now, everyone has grown up, and that goes to show how insane the writing was.
Yep.
How it's just, when like look at Michael B. Jordan, for example. He was a little kid on The Wire.
Yep.
He's now, like
he's an A-list
biggest movie star.
actor.
Yeah.
He's an A-list, not B-list, not C-list. He's an A-list actor. Like,
well, him and
might get
Idris
an
both
Oscar.
got him and Idris are like.
Idris is another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch Sinners? Were you a fan, Dre?
I thought Sinners was cool. I thought it was very creative. I did like it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think.
Am I out of pocket for not seeing it yet, y'all? Am I out of pocket?
I mean,
you have to watch it. It's really good.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan plays twins with two different personalities.
No, that's wicked. That's
on
crazy.
HBO Max.
Okay. No, that's crazy.
So like that's how when you speak about shows, it's like those shows have beaten time. It's when time doesn't say, oh, that's you could put it on. I have buddies that watch it every day. Like, I'm like, what are you watching now? He's like, I'm watching The Wire again.
Yeah.
You know what, Dre? Those fans are why we're even in this, doing a podcast of every episode 23 years later. Like it's that rabid fan base, that's our audience. That's who we look to connect to. So if you got fans that that's in your contact list that love The Wire, send them our stuff. I guarantee you they'll be like, oh no, this shit is phenomenal. Because that's who we do it for, is for fans that actually love diehard fans that love The Wire. Like, so if you got friends like that, that's like, oh yeah, they still watch The Wire. Yeah, send them our stuff. They'll appreciate it. We definitely get deep into it.
Dog, it's so crazy that like I could be where was I recently? Where the fuck was I? I want to say I was somewhere in Florida, and I'm having a conversation, and I'm like, yeah, I live in Baltimore. They're like, dog, The Wire. Everywhere you go, you say Baltimore, and it's like, is The Wire real? Is The Wire this? Is The Wire that? And I'm like, that's another show. That's a show that there's no time, there's no jurisdiction that will ever stop it. Because once a show is good, it lives forever.
I'm guilty of that. If I meet somebody from Baltimore, I'll go, "Oh, why is my favorite show? How accurate is The Wire?" I'm guilty of that.
And y'all know what, too? And I wonder if it's the common theme between all of these shows is David Simon. Like, I don't know
for sure.
Because I feel like we on the city, like I've told y'all before we even started the podcast.
Well, it's David Simon and Ed Burns.
And Ed Burns together, right?
I think that's the combo, because I think Ed Burns doesn't get enough credit. Where I think he's just
as important.
Who let's give him credit as well. Ed Burns was a retired police officer.
Right, exactly. His insight is essential, and I think in 20 years, obviously we'll still be talking about The Wire. It's never going to change. It's as if
I think he's a war veteran too. Dre.
He is. I think so. Yep. But I also feel like in 20 years, just because of the impact of what happened with Dwayne Jenkins and the impact on Baltimore, we on this city will also stand the test of time. It's going to always be something to go back to, because the story is phenomenal. Even the Sean Suiter stuff now, like, his family to this day, they're like, no, he did not kill himself. We don't believe it. He did not kill himself. I don't care what David Simon and they say about the investigation and stuff. My husband did not do it. He did not kill himself, kind of thing. Like, it's the We Own the City story and the Gun Trace Task Force. The impact was so impactful. It's going to live forever. Like, that story is, because it's nothing like we've seen almost ever. We've seen a corrupt cop or two. This is a whole task force of a gang, in a way, kind of thing. Like, it was something that is I don't want to call it legendary, but it was like, that's what it is. It's a legendary story.
Yeah, it's gonna be up there with like the Rampart guys in LA too. Let's not forget those guys. Yeah, sure. So, like, did you guys watch the 7-5 out of Brooklyn?
What's that? What's that? What's
You
What's
guys
that?
that?
you guys have not watched the 7
Oh,
5
wait
or
a sec.
7 2.
Okay. It's a
Look it up.
No, no,
documentary, right?
Yeah, it's
I
a
haven't
doc.
watched
It's a
it.
doc. It's about these
About the 72nd precinct, I'm assuming.
yeah, is 72nd or the 75th?
I don't know. Our
Almost.
researcher is researching. Jack, what is it?
Well, I'm just looking at the IMDb. I'll let Mr. Dre explain because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
No, but
okay.
is it the 75 or the 72?
It says the 7-5 from
Yeah.
2014. I'm on
Yeah.
IMDb.
It's about these Brooklyn police officers in New York City and the things they did. So
Mhm.
it
I
all
think
goes with everything that you guys are discussing, but again, with all that being said, I think the only one out of all these conversations of if you look at all these law enforcement officers that did the wrong thing, and they made it into a doc or a show or whatever, David Simon's the only one that's hit a home run. Because all these docs are cool, but it's
Yeah.
not like We Own the City.
Yeah.
A
We Own the
show
City
that is deep
actual
rooted,
stuff.
a show that's deep rooted in truth like this, where so many of the elements of the show are actually true. That is why I think We Own This City is kind of sets itself apart. It's not a lot of, oh no, this didn't happen. It's not a lot of that. Like, this shit is really real. So
we
No,
had Chris. We had Chris
was
Clanton on who played Savino on The Wire, and
yeah,
he
yeah,
said
yeah,
it
yeah.
felt weird.
Cool dude.
He
Yeah, he
said
was a
it
cool
felt
dude.
weird wearing the cop jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
our guy too, man. Shout out to Chris Clanton, man.
Yeah, he's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody on the show was dope. But what also stands out about We Own the City is that people are like, "Where's season 2?" And it's like,
Right.
no, that's life. Like when shit
Right.
ends, it's not sexy.
Right.
No.
It's over.
What's funny about that, y'all? I probably check once every 6-7 weeks. I'll go to Google and type in "We Own This City" season 2. I know it's not happening. I just go in and just see, like, any chance of anything happen. But there's no story really to tell. You be telling the story of them in jail. Like, it's not. The story was what it was.
Exactly.
I know we said our goodbyes, but I'm thinking of something right
We're having
now.
too much fun.
Do you think that do you think that do you think We Own This City, right, would have been We Own the City as special as it is to some people without John Burton as Wayne Jenkins, another actor in that role?
And again, I don't know if I'm biased, but I realize that it's everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's David Simon's writing, his research, it's Nina Noble, it's all these creators, and I realize that, like, in order to make something special, it does take everything. JB is I love everyone.
You can't explain it with him, man. You can't explain it with him, bro.
The force of nature
is like, and he's a good friend of mine now, and to see his preparation, to see how this man works, there's nothing like it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, he made me step my game up in my life, because at the time I'm thinking like, yo, I'm good, I got my crib, I'm driving a Lexus. Like, what? I'm from the Bronx, like, I got a crib. Lit. Yeah, I'm lit. Like, but then being around him and just having these conversations, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, the show, he is a huge part of why that show was sick, because there's a lot of things he did that was just him, that like, I love me some me, and like,
I love that part too. I love me some me, man.
I'm brushing my teeth.
Yeah,
I'm brushing my teeth and I'm in the mirror like, yo, I love me some me today.
I love me some me, man.
There's certain things that just like click.
Yeah.
When they're talking to him at the end of episode 1, and they're like, they walk in, FBI walks in, and he looks at them and he's like, y'all know who I am? Like, you ain't jail, you ain't handcuffs, but it's like, hey, look now, like, I'm Wayne fucking Jenkins. Like,
still thinks he has the upper hand. Yeah.
Y'all know who I am? Like,
He's so
Love it.
charismatic, man. He's like,
He is, man.
he's like,
He
Even
is,
just
man.
the way he walks, I always saw was great. Like just the subtle movement, and like he has a theatrical background. Like he's a trained theatrical actor.
Yeah.
And you talked about like the
well,
difference
he
between
told
him
a
and
funny story on Dre's podcast that he was actually a baseball player, and he just joined acting 101 by accident. Intro to acting 101. He wanted to do intro
sometimes
to
like
theater just to like do acid in the back of the classroom and stuff.
Damn.
I was like,
and like he studied acting in Russia, like
wow.
that's next level stuff,
He different,
But like,
man.
but
He
like,
different.
yeah, but so it's like he got into that, but then you watch Jamie Hector play Suter, he's smooth,
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's
It's like,
understated. It's subtle.
yeah, and it's like that yin and that yang where like JB's character, when they were at the car wash, like he's going crazy, and
Yep.
then Jamie Hector's character is like
I'm smooth.
like
Yeah.
and it kind of like brings them down, but I also want to give a dope shout out to like Daryl Britt Gibson
Mm-hmm.
and his
Mhm.
character.
Yes, Ram.
Like when he had the female, like remember when they went into the crib, he put the gun to the female's head.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Where the
menacing.
shit at?
That was menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
It's-
and it's like
It's tough. He was a menace too, and I love his character too. Like when they talking to him, he another one where he
He's
talking
a
king
nut job.
shit to him. He like they like do you need a lawyer? He like, bitch, at $500 an hour. What do you mean? Like what? No,
he was a
no
nut
fucking lawyer
job.
to do this
Yeah,
shit. He had some lines in We Own This City that's like, yeah, no, I know what happened. I did it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what?
He's like,
The city is fucked up. Shit. What you want me to do?
yeah, yeah,
But also,
Nah,
it humanizes them too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I always thought.
Go ahead, Jack.
That-
I was gonna say it's like like obviously Wayne Jenkins is a bad guy, but there are moments when you can honestly like the writing is so and the acting is so great that the moments where you understand his perspective. Like he has that conversation with Suter where he's like, "Look, man, I'm going into a place I might get killed. It's not worth it by the money I like." And it's like obviously like these things, but like you understand it from like a human element of what he's saying.
There are scenes, Jack, and we're not justifying it, obviously, but like they're just little scenes that show when he kind of got to that point, like when he's starting and like they talking about, man, you don't have no money. What's up with these weak ass crabs you brought to this party?
Yeah.
Like what you doing? What the fuck is this? And it just shows him like, I didn't get into this to be a bad person, but I'm sitting here, I'm in Baltimore, the whole city fucked up. I got a family, I got a kid. It's like, okay, well, all this shit that I'm doing in this corrupt, hard city, I could lose my life at any given moment. Is it worth it? But I do want to be a cop, but I do have a family. Like it's not justified, obviously, but he's making sense of why he's showing you like, okay, this is why I did these things, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we're not, this whole conversation, we're not justifying what they did. We're really here breaking down the show, right? And that is a phenomenal point. That interaction is what maybe was like, you know what? Next time I guess I see some money, I'm taking that shit. Because homeboy was like, yeah, you're right. He was like, these weak ass crabs, and you saw JB's character kind of like doing the math. Like, wait a minute.
I spent $44 fucking on these crabs.
Yeah.
And he's embarrassed too.
He's embarrassed, and it touches insecurity. And I think that's what, boom, and that's again tribute to the writing and the acting. That's phenomenal. Like for that to come across the screen, and the way you broke it down is sick.
Yeah, because it shows like I didn't get into. I started out trying to do what's right. Even when he's starting, he's saying like, "Hey, no, this is fucked up, y'all. Like, like why are we doing these bullshit arrests? Like, he's asking questions as to why is this shit so fucked up, like kind of thing, So it progressively shows him kind of understand. Oh shit, I'm policing from a disadvantage because of the city that I'm in already. Like I'm already starting from behind kind of thing. Like it's a phenomenal. We Own the City. It's one of my. If I'm listing my top 10 shows, I will throw We Own the City in there, even though it's 6 episodes. But if it's my favorites, yeah, it's up there. It's definitely one of my top 10 shows if it's favorites, like But it's a mini series, so it's not really like a full show, but it's one of my favorite things to ever watch that I've ever watched.
But I think because it's a mini series, it gives you everything you need.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it so special. It's like it's not long. It's like punch in the face. See you later.
You know what, too, Dre? When we first started, we were starting this first episode, and Jesse was breaking it down. He was like, "It's kind of confusing with all of the time jumps."
The first episode got me confused on all the time jumps. It was hard for me to follow. I wasn't a big fan.
When you think about it, in terms of what we're packing into 6 episodes, Wayne Jenkins started in 02 or 03. I think is the first time jump when he's in the academy. So this is 6 episodes from 02 to 2017. Like, we got 6 episodes to pack in 15 years of stuff. Like, so it's a it plays out phenomenal on screen. If you look down for 1 second and you look up, you'd be fucked up. You'd be like, shit.
It requires all of your attention. Yeah. It requires all of your attention.
Even Josh Charles steals the scenes he's in, right? Like he was, it's something of I guess an actor has to love playing the bad guy, right? Because they give you so much more to play with, right? To act with. But even Josh Charles with he's like Herschel's not, you don't like the guy, but the acting is freaking incredible.
The acting is phenomenal. Even we brought this up, y'all, when Nicole Steele, who we know is not a real person, but when she walks up on him and he's eating them hot wings, he looks like a fucking pig. But it's such a good little scene. It's like
even the subtle acting choices, like he decides to lick his lips before shaking her hand. Like that's something like just a pro would do in that moment, just to add to the grossness of who he is.
And it was all to make her feel awkward. And it was
and just but like embarrassed,
If you guys notice too, he tells so he's there talking and he goes, "Hey, buy that guy another round of drinks on me." But as soon as she leaves, he goes, "Hey, make sure that's not top shelf." He's like, "I'm not." I used to be a drinker, so I noticed that.
Man. Yeah. It's so dope. I gotta be honest with you. You guys have a sharp eye. It's so dope to have this conversation about it because, again, these are things that I don't know if people either picked up on it, but it's pure filmmaking genius. Everybody's part. And I'm glad you brought up Josh Charles because he did do that and it plays so well because again, you don't like him, but it's I want to know what he's up to,
you want more rehearsal. That was one of the things I was like, I wish we had more rehearsal, even though he's such a bad. It's like he's so captivating and he's unhinged. You just feel like he's just gonna fucking fly off the handle.
The top and Citizens, he was worse than Wayne Jenkins was in terms of the shit that he was on. He's the most menacing.
He's the most blatant out of it. He was the least subtle. Everyone.
I don't know if you knew, but he passed away recently, Dre. I don't know if you knew that. I'm sure you probably did. Herschel. Yeah. We interviewed Miss Donna. She broke the news on our interview to me and the rest of the crew. She was like, "I don't know if y'all know, but the cop Herschel, he died last week." And I was like, "Oh shit," because I had been following him. I follow the cops on We Own the City. I like to see if anybody's getting released soon, if anybody has spoken, or if they've gotten released and now they're speaking on camera more. I be following the cops, so I had been following Herschel's story. I knew he was fucked up. I knew he was sick. And he was trying to get released. I thought he was lying. I thought he was like, "Look, hey, I'm sick. Let me out." And they were like, "Nah, you good." And he ended up dying in there, kind of thing.
He was in you remember him as the bad brother and the bad cop in Four Brothers, Dre?
Who?
He was in Four Brothers.
Oh shit.
Josh Charles.
He was.
Damn, you're right, Jesse. Oh shit.
As soon as I saw him on the city, I'm like, this guy's going to be a evil guy. He was evil in Four Brothers. He just fits that role.
I fucking love Four Brothers. I watch that movie every day.
Four Brothers is a dope film.
Yeah,
is.
the great
I
John
thought you were.
Singleton.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Damn, Jesse. Shit, damn, that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
him. He
Jesse,
is the
you
dirty
right.
cop.
Wow, you just threw me back on that one. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
you did, Jesse.
Yeah, I
Damn.
love that. I love the cops in that film too, Terry. You, because they were in the right too. I know we're talking about Four Brothers, but when Terrence Howard said, "You knock on the devil's door long enough, and somebody going to answer it," I love that
Yeah.
line.
And you know what, Jesse? Just you saying that, and I know Jack is a huge movie buff. I don't know, breaking down movies, that's a whole nother. I don't know. It kind of made me want to get into that for us. Like that's interesting. Like because I can watch
Nah,
Four Brothers every day, any
that
day,
could that could
any
be
day.
that could be really dope for you guys because you guys are expressing and clearly you're showing you have a sharp eye for this. So
We
that would be
appreciate that,
sick,
man, for
you know.
sure.
Thank you.
And I think that it's a certain level of education you guys are bringing. Somebody may watch this and then rewatch We Own the City because of you guys, and now pick up on the things you guys have mentioned,
Yeah.
which gives the viewer more satisfaction because it's like, oh, I missed that, and now
Yeah.
I understand and see the subtleties of this fine. It's a fine art.
Yep.
And thanks to you guys, they'll pick up on it. I think that might be dope for you guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
and
man.
Dre, we like to deem ourselves, the greatest Wire podcast ever because of that reason, like you just said.
Yeah.
We all three of us have seen the show. I don't know, at least 5 times. So it's us breaking down stuff like that, and we own the city. That's the reason we like to do it because we do feel like we pick up on stuff. I know Jack and Jesse, they research stuff just on everything in terms of what we watch and some of the stuff that fans don't know about, so we definitely appreciate acknowledging kind of what we're doing and trying to build here, man. That means that's the reason that we do it. So we definitely appreciate that, man, for sure.
Dope. It's really dope. Really dope.
For sure. And Dre, man, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much on this. And we definitely will look to have you back when we wrap up We Own This City. We're gonna put out the first episode of the recap, probably Sunday or Monday. And so we'll send you the link, let you check it out. And man, we definitely appreciate it. Definitely want to have you back maybe when we wrap up in a few weeks, maybe like 4 weeks, a month from now. Definitely have you back on when we wrap up We Own the City, and definitely appreciate your time and your insight, man. It's been phenomenal, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for you guys having a sharp eye and just having these discussions about just filmmaking and the art of it. Again, thank you. I want to thank everyone from the executive producers down to catering, the truckers, everyone on this production, because I learned that it really takes everyone to make phenomenal filmmaking.
Art. Yeah.
And again, this was only 6 episodes, so imagine the crew that was on The Wire. We know
we're seeing it from our interviews.
How many seasons was that?
60 episodes.
They created a whole family ecosystem that that they have brought me in as a member as well, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have these conversations, and
we're trying to get on that list too, part of the Wire family.
I was just about to say that, bro.
Yeah.
Jesse he's mentioned we're looking to put our footprint into the Wire when it's all said and done. When we wrap up probably a year from now, when we finish the whole Wire breakdown, we're gonna look back and be like, damn, like it was really. We really are part of the Wire family too, kind of thing.
We're the Wire adopted family.
So Dre, before you leave, boss,
right, exactly.
If you wouldn't mind, Dre, would you say please like, share, and subscribe to Wiretapped Truths? Would you say that for us? We have all our interviews say that at the end of the interview.
For sure. Please like and subscribe to the Wiretap. Phenomenal show. You guys are creating your own lane, breaking these films down, finding these Easter eggs that give viewers more insight onto the show. So thank you for that.
Thank you, man. We appreciate all the love, the support. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the fans. This has been a phenomenal interview. We are approaching about 113,000 views on our channel, so we appreciate all the love.
That's awesome.
If you want to book us for any voiceover work, you can book all three of us. Any commercial casting, please feel free to reach out to us at wiretappedtruths@gmail.com or contact us at 678-938-5398. We appreciate all the love. Dre, thank you so much, man. man, we'll get your information from Jesse, you know, and I'll put it in the videos that we put out moving forward, man. We appreciate your time, boss. Thank you.
Yo, peace and love. Peace and love.
Blessings, blessings. Thank you, man. Happy holidays, boss.
Happy holidays. See you in the new year,
Likewise.
guys. Bye.
Likewise. Be safe.